Gamboa and Rene Alvarado. They're fighting technically in the lightweight division, though both.
Rene Gemelo Alvarado. And Yuriorkis Gamboa.
Yuriorkis. Rene. Rene, vuelvo a repetir, presiones todo el tiempo, protegen durante la pelea todo el tiempo. Les deseo suerte, desen guantes.
Gamboa's inactivity. When he beat Salido over 5 years ago, had a big weight advantage just as he had it, and that was only an okay win for him. He's been inactive. He's in against a tough, busy fighter tonight.
The last time we saw Gamboa drop on him in the early rounds, he was faster than Terrence Crawford.
130, which is a stock division.
He had on it, but it seemed pretty strong, so we'll have to see what happens. If he lands probably over 300 amateur fights, so he's a wonderful boxer. If you let him box, he's going to give you a hard time.
And you can see the hand speed. Professional fighters fighting out of Managua, Nicaragua.
What language it was, but I think he said no hitting on the break.
Oh, hitting on the break. Thank you.
Round for Gamboa, all things considered, against a fighter who's been active and has had some tough tests and passed some of them.
Don't open up too much. Get close. All right? Get a little bit closer, you can do your combinations. And don't despair.
For the national team as an early team. So he has been.
It's hard to imagine. Gamboa is already 35 years old. Robs a fighter of half a step, a microsecond. Really suffer. So far, he looks pretty sharp.
With his footwork, I'm really impressed with him.
Team against Terrence Crawford until the moment when Crawford repeated throughout the rest of Crawford's career, where he kind of lulls an opponent and begins to hit them with hard power shots. That's what he did to Gamboa.
And actually, as soon as
hard right hand by Gamboa over the top. Hurt Alvarado.
Crawford's a sensational fighter, naturally.
Let's go. Sharp, sharp.
Bigger guy. I mean, he waited at 130.
The day before weigh-ins, it used to be day of weigh-ins, have a little more urgency than he's shown so far.
If he gets knocked out, can you imagine how many cheers it's going to be?
You're right.
That's not good
for people who appreciate the fact that he's been inactive and how skillful and talented he is.
Joe Fight and Joe Promoter, if he gets knocked out, they're going to be all...
To be an outstanding combination puncher. Probably what put him in the ring here tonight, but the months that followed turned out to be the most difficult.
And even with it being a little bit dull, it's still more of a boxer than a fighter or a puncher. So he's doing a better job.
Different in that he was a former Cuban amateur offensive fighter.
Fought like a gunslinger.
Him come in off of how long he's been off? A year layoff?
Again.
And go back with that
layoff yet.
Exactly. So you can't go in like that when you know you're prone.
And some of that's on Alvarado, too. He's got to get busier. He's also...
I mean, regardless of whether you're enjoying watching it, you have to give credit to what they think so far of the entertainment value.
Over the top. I haven't seen that one over the top. Touch of the money and over the top. You have to come on.
Entertaining. That now falls on Gamboa, and he seems to recognize it as he begins to hunt a little bit more aggressively for some contact.
Right. Roy and I were on the same.
That he could.
Yeah.
That brought a burst of enthusiasm from the crowds we had seen coming from their great national teams.
You're
Vargas, Salido, but increasingly the question in the 130-pound division, despite all...
was a spectacular pro not long ago, and by the way, is here.
You've got to go at the tag. He's ready for
when Gamboa throws his overhand right. He lands the left hook to the head, but usually that was more of a slap than a hook because of inactivity.
Why is that, Roy?
Because he's not been
elbow down or what?
He hasn't had the rhythm. His rhythm is off right now, so his timing, everything about the way he's fighting is off.
Everybody's fascinated, by the way, to see
rules. That's fine. And Roy, if this is Gamboa rusty,
back to right-handed again. And through the MX, that was a slap because that's inactivity slap. You feel me?
Yeah. Gamboa may not look as aggressive or as explosive because some of those.
You see Gamboa with the overhand right, followed by a little bit better left hook. He's getting better. That one was a little harder. Still landing with the thumb, but then he got slung down.
Gamboa landed 51 out of 234. That's 22%. That's desultory. But
he has to jump in, and like right there. See how he got caught with that right hand? He's hurt now.
Yep.
He's hurt. See what I'm saying? That's what he's running from all night long because he knows he's not been active. So it's not hard down right now if Alvarado catches him with a good shot. That's why he's been safe. Oh, he hit him right down.
For the second time,
This
Alvarado.
is one of the reasons that the Cuban amateur style gets a bad rap. The aggressive fighters become docile, and because the Cubans, the offense, you wind up with a low punch out, not commercially.
Alvarado lands that because of the nature of the fight so far, a unanimous decision win is going to do a spectacular knockout somewhere between here and the end of round 10, and this is going to be another loss, too much of a lost career for Yuriorkis Gamboa.
It's not an accident. Oh, this is the difference also between fighting at 120 lightweight limit. They can take your punches better, and their punches land with more authority.
Advantage, having rehydrated to a far greater degree overnight.
A featherweight, though.
They're not crossing it over. Pressure him.
Paying us safe. See Alvarado throw this feint down, come right over the top with a beautiful right hand, right on the chin. Very good right hand.
Gamboa to try to score a knockout that would make this a much more
aggressive and took risks. He got hurt by a guy who's really not in his class.
Good jab by Gamboa.
Good jab, but in isolation. What both corners have asked their fighters for both of them. Although Gamboa has clearly
countering, just that Alvarado is not giving him much to counter.
Yeah, as the shorter fighter, when the other guy wants to play defense, is out. Those pot shots, though, aren't getting.
He only can lose this fight by fighting crazy like that.
interesting to watch purely because it's a documentation of what's happening in Gamboa's career. But if you bought it, and both men will be gunning for big damage and possible knockout when they get into the
I
ring.
guarantee you that we will get our money's worth of fireworks.
Happy to hear that. As though they have a parked car running and waiting for them.
But I figured he'd come out punching in the 8th round, and he said, you haven't got it set.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, Alvarado takes a terrific punch. Look at that.
Now Gamboa gets.
I would have got disqualified. Might have got kicked out of the box.
The other guy was never the same, and get him and take him out. Against larger guys, they're not having the same effect.
I think Berchelt is such a new and developmental name that any name opponent means something.
You put Gamboa in with a guy like Miura.
Give yourself the best chance at winning a big fight because this is his last shot. He's 35
Boy
years
Promotions, how patient they want to be in this process.
If they care
Bring up
about it.
Berchelt, because if you're not ready for him, Lomachenko.
Boy, as soon as we take a look back at what I momentarily thought was a knockdown and been slipped.
Yeah,
You
right
tell
here.
me.
Yeah, that's a right hand over the top that made contact with the head. And then this one makes
Who does not know Roy Jones's
good shot. You see, he shows his willingness to trade, like right there. Gets him knocked down, but he shows you that if he gets hit, he's willing to exchange. That's what kind of hurt him.
Gamboa's shown enough flashes tonight where the talent, to me, still, even if it's not pitched quite as high as it was 6 or 7 years ago, when he wants to be. Needs more fights.
And this is off of him. It doesn't look like he's lost much. Didn't gamble more. Good hook by.
Well, you know what he
Then he's going to upset his twin brother.
Let's take one more look at this replay, largely because something happened.
Took
and
a
in
shot
most
right
of the
there.
rest of the fight, nothing happened.
He took a shot right there. Landed a
Lost
shot
his
right
balance.
Yeah, like a
Right there.
raising
Yeah.
shot.
Here we go. There's the lucky touch.
Yeah.
And that
El Ciclon de Guantanamo, Yuriorkis Gamboa.
not a single spectator applauded.